Hi everyone, this is Raj Kumar. Today we will see different ways of input and output we can perform in Python. This is our series which we are preparing on Python. So in this video you will see how to take different uh, ways of taking input in Python and how to take input in control in Python and how to take multiple inputs from Python from users. And you can also see in this video how to print even using printf function, how to print without new line in Python, and even you can see how to separate like in printf functions, how to use separator functions and Python and parameter also you can see. And you can also see different ways of using different types of output formatting. So let's start with some basic examples. Like suppose if you want to take input in Python, yeah, you can simply just give anything like let's say v something, and if you want to take input, you can simply write input and just give some comments for user to be interactive, like enter any number. Suppose user want to enter any number, just give the hints to user. It will ask from the user, so enter any number. Let's say 45 is any number. So suppose you want to print that value, so you can just give the variable name which we initialize as v, so it will print the value 45. So suppose let's say just to verify it whether this 45 is a string character or which data type it is. 45 is the integer, float, double, or string. Yeah, so let's take another input. Let's say let's say p. Let's say p. Enter any number. We will let's say 2, 3. Let's say, and let's say enter any, and let's say enter anything. Let's say enter anything. Let's say Rajesh. Let's say Rajesh. Now let's print all above values. Let's first print p, then s, then we initialize this as v. Now see uh, let's check the type of these variables. Just to check the type of variable, you can simply write type v like this. You can see the type here. You can see the v is storing a class which is of string type. Here v45, here we entered 45, but user will think like it is of integer type. But whatever the user means, whatever the system is taking input from user is like considered as a string. So if you want to change this 45 in whatever the way you want, like float, integer, double, or any other type, you need to do typecasting. So in Python, if you need to do typecasting, you can do like this. So let's take any example. Let's say number one. I'm just taking. So let's say let we put input. So first input, let's say put some values like enter first number, enter first number. Here the system will take the input from the user and it will convert it to integer type, and it is stored in number one variable. So this is how it will. So let's say double one, that is 11. Now let's again check the value of this number one, that is number one. Here you will see the character class is now is has been changed to integer type. So this is the way you can do typecasting in Python. So let's say you want to add two number. So let's say number 2. Let's say number 2 int. Now input, just give some, enter second number, let's say 45, and for, let's say you want to perform print number 1 plus word 2. This is how you can perform addition. This is the way you can do typecasting of integer, string to integer type. So let's say you want to change it float type. Simply you need to change typecast by using a keyword float. Let's say any variable a float input. Let's say first number we will take 3 and b equal to float input. Let's say second one is 4.35. This is the way, and let's check the type. Print type of a. It will, here it is, so it is showing the class of variable a is float. Let's check for b. Here it is float. So if you want to add, you can simply add like this way. Print a plus b. This is where you can print a plus b. So suppose it is all by default it is a string. Suppose you want to like do string typecasting, you can simply do like this way by using a keyword string. You can take any input and it will get typecasted to a string. By default it is a string, so we need to perform this string. Okay, str in Python, for taking a string it is a keyword of str. So anything just give, it will convert it to print type of as a string. So this is the way you can do typecasting in Python. So let's say you want to take many there is a way multiple, like you can even take multiple inputs from user in Python by using, there are various types like split method. There is also a way of list comprehension. If you want to use a split method, like how a split method works, let's take an example. Let's say x and y input. Let's say enter some values. Let's say let's say enter to value. It will enter some random, enter any two random values and split, and just split it. So it will ask to enter two values. So let's say first values is 3, second value is 4. So the values is 3 and 4. So let's say if you want to see, the values, print that is 3, print y that is 4. So here you have seen, like, I just give a space between 3 and 4. So the delimiter for taking two inputs is the space, like how to how it will recognize like 3 and 4 are different entered values. So based on the space it is taking. So same way you can take even three inputs also by using split functions. Simply you need to write like let's say p q are equal to, let's say, just provide input. If you want to mention something, just mention it, like enter three values and simply split it. Simply do split, it will automatically perform. So let's say 1 2 3. This is where three values will get split. So if you want to print for confirmation purpose, just print p as 1, q as 2, and if you want to see the value of r, that is 3. So this is the way you can print. You can take three inputs in Python. There is another way of taking, like if you want to take using typecasting, you can even, so let's say you want to take multiple inputs using list comprehension. So in Python you need to mention like this way. Let's say you have to specify the list, and inside the list you need to declare the type, and for type you need to mention it here int. This is a for this is a way we will discuss for int, while do, while, these all loops and condition control flow in upcoming videos. Just for now, for showing purpose, I'm using it for in. So let's say for in, like, which variable you want to add in. Let's say any input you want, like if you want to mention it you can mention it, or else you can leave it also. Enter, let's say here we declare 2, so then you can simply enter two values. You can say enter two values, and it will end, and like we did previously, just give split, it will split it. This is the way you can take the inputs for this one. Let's say 34 and 23, two inputs. So if you want to confirm it, just print the value of x is 34 and for y is 23. This is the way you can perform list comprehension in Python. And suppose you want to take two inputs at the same time, so you can also do. Let's say you want to take two inputs at the same time, so you need to mention again like list. Just give int x for x in, let's say, input, enter two values. You can simply uh, do like this one. We already did for two values. Suppose you want to take multiple inputs, you can just simply perform on a single variable and take multiple inputs until you want to take it. Like let's say x equal to, just declare the type of x for x in input, simply just enter multiple multiple values. Like this way you can, and just simply give a split, it will do. So this is the way you can do split. So this way you can enter multiple values like 2 3 4 5 6 7. You can take multiple values. Okay, enter multiple values. This is the way you can take multiple values from this. Even let's say 1 2 okay 1 12 34. If you want to print x, you can see like this way. So let's say there is a way. Let's see how to do output stuffs in Python. For output purpose, we, we have to use this print function. Inside this, you need whatever you want. Simply just write anything. It will print like this for output purpose. But let's say you want to like there is a way of call literals like new line characters, horizontal space you can use inside this also. Like let's say print, let's say finish horizontal tab is my name, and let's say backslash n new line, and let's say anything. uh, like this it will do the print. Like there is a horizontal space. By using this horizontal and by using this backslash n, it will perform new line. So from here the remaining one gets printed over this. So this is the way you can print results. So suppose at the end of print statement you want to print something, you can use by using end keyword inside this print statement. So let's say here you want to show something, you need to specify end. Let's say you want to specify with hash. In print it shows comment, so let's say let's put any other delimiter like dollar. Let's say any other like this way we can perform like this, we can perform. So again we need to mention it. Okay, I forgot to here we use two things and we need to mention it here. Here we need to mention it. Okay, let's say print something. Let's say print niche, and you want to print something at the end. So you need to mention what you want to print. Let's say I want to print a star. So you can print like this way. Here star is printed after whatever you want to print. So this is way you can also play with end keyword. Suppose you want to like you can also print by holding some values. Like let's say let's say b is having some values, let's say which is of a string type. So this way b holds, and in print you can use this as a separator. Let's say b, let's say you can print like this way also by using some separator. And let's say you want to use end in this, you can simply do using end equal to whatever, let's say at the rate we want to show. You can also do like this at the rate. So let's say let's put the format, let's say at the end you want, and engineering.com. This is the way we can play with these things. So let's you can do many more steps, like suppose you want to use separator parameter. So for that one, let's say let's take some this way you can also print like then let's say let's say E and S, then H, and you want to put some separator in between, so you can simply mention it what kind of separator you want to show in this. So let's say I want to show underscore between them, so it will print like this by using the operate keyword hash. Let's say we want to print some date kind of things, so you can print the format of date also. Let's say 27, let's say 27 Feb 2021. You need to mention in separator like this in string format. So let's say separator we will use here is backslash, so it will print like this also. So this is where you can play with print statements. So there is there is also something like called formatting in Python. If you want to particularly specify want to something, so for that one you can also like do like, let's say you want to print something, let's say uh, integer, octal, or exponential value, or any float value. If you want to print, you can do like, let's say let's uh, let's say value anything, let's say value, let's say percentage d for integer value. So value is value is let's say percentage, let's say percent, we need to mention it here. We are giving two arguments for our inputs. Let's say 0.5 point anything, let's do this one. So we are having value this much, so it will print. Okay, here we made a mistake here. At this point we need to mention like this way. Okay, here we need to mention percentage d also, percentage d, or whatever you can say, a percentage, let's say 5.2f for float kind of things you can print also. Let's say you want to print exponential value, you can print percentage 10.3e, percentage of, let's say, any values to anything. This is how you can print exponential value. If you want to print octal value, you have to just mention like print percentage 7 point anything. Simply you need to mention percentage 25. This is the way you can play with these things. I'm getting okay. Okay, here just because here percentage 25. Okay, okay. 7 there is print. Okay, I think percentage 732 is not good. I will in next upcoming videos we will see different types of operators and their use. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.